Okay, I've opened up the Mpeg Streamclip, and let's just go to right here. This has already been edited and everything, but this is the actual raw file that I recorded on our TriCaster at the church. It's an MP4 video, but basically this holds true with any video for just basic trimming. When you open it up, you're going to go to wherever the beginning point is of your service. In our case, I'm just kind of scrolling through here. So let's see, they're starting to get ready. Let's see. He's going to start singing here in a sec. Okay, yeah, looks like they're starting to play. Okay, so that's where it's going to be. Now, if you are hearing, the audio is really low right there. And the reason is because, the audio was recorded low, unfortunately. So you may have to contend with this. I don't know. When you get to the point that you want to start, you're going to move to that point, and then you're going to hit, you see where it says N right here? If you just hit the letter I on your keyboard, you'll see that it marked that spot. So this spot that is in the dark is going to be the part that is going to be exported. This part is not. Okay, now I'm going to go down here to the end. See, they're showing the camp videos. Praying over the kids. New lady. Okay, so we actually fade out, which is great. So I'm just going to go here to the end, and now I'm just going to hit O. See, for out right here, I'm going to hit O. Watch how that time changes when I hit the letter O. Oop. Looks like I got right at the end. I'm just going to back it up just a hair just so you can see. Okay, see how it changed there? Okay, so now I've marked the in point, I've marked the out point, which means only the stuff in between here, between the in, as in it comes in here and it goes out there, is going to be recorded. Now, we're just going to go to File and choose Export. And I always export to QuickTime when I'm trying to make a like a master file, a file that I want to like archive or something. In your case, for publishing to Facebook and to YouTube, etc., you're going to want to export to Mpeg. Now, when it comes to where you're going to put it, this is going to determine where your settings are going to be. You need to choose H.264. Now, I have an open source version of H.264, which is a little better. It's called X.264. So if you want to find that and install it, that's great. I'm going to choose to do a quality level of, let's say, 100. However, I'm going to limit the data rate to, I'm going to send this up to YouTube. So I'm going to make it 8,000, which is 8 megabits. And the size of it is going to be 4.8 gigabytes. So it's going to be a very large file. But since I'm uploading to YouTube, which doesn't have a restriction, that's exactly what I want. I want to send a really, really high quality version to it. For the sound, in my case, it's going to be Mpeg 4 AC stereo. The recording rate, sample rate. There we go. Sample rate. Just leave it to auto, and then you can choose whichever quality level you want. The more kilobits per second, the better. So 256. I uncheck interlace scaling. The reason is that this is back in the day of dealing with like DV video and NTSC videotapes and stuff like that. So just be sure you uncheck that. And if you do have something that's interlaced, you'll know because you'll see like little horizontal lines when you pause. Just choose to deinterlace the video. Now, when it comes to the file size that you want to do, this was recorded at 1920 by 1080, so I'm going to leave it there. It's also, if I wanted to make it a little smaller, like say I want to do the podcast version, then I may make it 1280 by 720, and I may make the kilobits, the bit rate, the data rate, say 1 megabit, 1,000 kilobits. It's going to make a smaller file size, which is much easier for someone to download and load onto their iPod or their phone or something like that. Okay. In this case, we're going to YouTube, like I said, so we're just going to leave it there. If, by the way, if you do decide to physically change the size, like go from a 1920 by 1080, which you can see is unscaled, that's the original format, and you want to go down to a 1280 by 720, 720p, then go ahead and choose to do better downscaling. And what it does is it uses a really nice downscaling filter on there, and it just gives you better quality. In the meantime, I'm just going to leave it as unscaled at 1920 by 1080. And if we were interlacing, we would choose which field we want to do first. Again, we're not interlacing, so I'm going to hit Make MP4. And then I'm going to go to the folder that I am, where'd it go? Sunday Worship, and was that the 16th? Yes, and go to Exports, and I'm going to call it and I'm all set. I hit save, and it is going to start rendering. So it's going through and it's rendering, and I'm just going to walk away and let it cook for a while. Okay? So anyway, that's how you use Mpeg Streamclip for basic stuff. Now, remember what I told you, that the audio levels in here, because we are using the mix that is coming from the house mixer, the front of house mixer, which means it's mixed to the room, which means the guy standing in the back working the soundboard is listening for the guitars, listening for the vocals, listening for for the drums and stuff as they are in the room. So if he hears the guitar being too loud, he's going to pull it down. If he hears a vocal being too shallow, he's going to punch it up a little bit, which will make it all sound good for the people sitting in the pews. What it's not necessarily going to do is make it sound great for the recording. So we're currently not mixing out of that into a separate mixer. That's actually the next project for me. But if you guys are mixing out specifically for the recording, then that's great. You should be okay. But otherwise, you're going to have to fix your audio, because no one wants to get a nice looking video that they have to punch up all the volume and everything that they can barely hear. Okay, so keep that in mind, in which case you're going to want to use a much more robust editor like Adobe Premiere or DaVinci Resolve. I mean, you've got it, you might as well play with it. So anyway, I hope this helps.